Hello everyone, and welcome to a peek beneath the waves of Planetos. This video is third on a series on cryptids and mythical beasts in A Song of Ice and Fire, and in this episode we look at many nautical curiosities such as Krakens, Leviathans, as well as a few speculative beasts such as sea dragons. You don't need to have seen the first two videos, which were on unicorns and mythical lions, to understand this one, but I would appreciate it if you could check those two out, as my channel is currently very small at under 400 subscribers, and every view really does help. But on to Krakens. While we haven't actually directly seen any Krakens in the Song of Ice and Fire, and many individuals both in and out of universe aren't convinced of their existence yet, there's little doubt left in the text that Krakens are in fact real in Planetos, and will play into the Winds of Winter in major ways. Krakens in ASOIAF are nearly identical to the Krakens of real-world mythology, essentially being supermassive squids capable of submerging boats and feeding on dying sailors. Famous as the device on the coat of arms of House Greyjoy, Krakens apparently occupy many of the waters throughout Planetos, but are exceedingly common particularly in the Summer Sea, south of Dorne, and to a lesser extent, the northern part of the Sunset Sea. We have plenty of accounts and depictions of Krakens throughout ASOIAF, many of these coming directly from House Greyjoy, as Krakens are an integral part of Greyjoy mythology. Asha invokes the existence of Krakens to mock Theon after his return home from Winterfell, and during the burning of Harrenhal, when the Ironborn fight each other, Krakens were drawn to the battle and feasted on the ships and dying sailors among the carnage. Many Greyjoy tales give us mythical stories of Krakens. A hero of House Greyjoy, Hrothgar, allegedly had a Kraken summoning horn that is now lost. It is not clear if this horn is a mystical horn already present in the story, completely lost to history, or most likely, now in the possession of House Celtigar. Or maybe the horn was never real, who knows? ASOIAF is a very horny story. In fact, we know Krakens will play a role in a coming Greyjoy battle in the Winds of Winter. During the first Arianne chapter of the Winds of Winter, Arianne hears accounts of Krakens off of the broken arm, the Maester stating that blood is what draws them to attack the broken ships. Turning then to the Forsaken chapter, where Euron has filled many damaged and crippled ships with blood, similar to a Blackwater wildfire tactic, Euron's plan now makes sense. In the coming Battle of Blood in Old Town, Euron's forces, though outnumbered, will trick his enemies into attacking the weak, blood-filled ships. Euron's also doing a bunch of horrible stuff in dark magic throughout the chapter, tying up priests of many major religions and his pregnant wife for sacrifice, the sort of thing I do to the people who watch my videos without subscribing. The blood-filled ships, which will lure Krakens to the battlefield causing absolute and indiscriminate carnage, combined with this Euron voodoo Lovecraft blood magic, really frames Euron as a coming eldritch horror god. In fact, Euron has a vision of the coming apocalypse, noting that Euron blows a great horn. This is likely Dragonbinder, but could also be Hrothgar's horn, and commands Krakens as well as dragons, which Euron does have coming plans to enslave, and sphinxes, which are tied heavily to Valyria, where Euron has very likely actually been. There are a few other Krakens of note throughout the story. One Greyjoy rebellion fails because the claimant king attempts to raise Krakens to devour a Targaryen fleet, but is unsuccessful when the Krakens don't show up. Varys brings an account of a Kraken bringing an Ibonese whaling ship down off the coast of the Fingers to attention at Joffrey's small council, but Tywin dismisses this, along with the rumors of dragons to the east and the Walking Dead from the Night's Watch. Krakens also show up during Alyssa Farman's voyage to circumnavigate the world. When Farman left from Old Town, she sailed with Eustace and Norman Hightower. Norman Hightower and Alyssa Farman were never seen again, but if Eustace is to be believed, the three of them sailed south by southwest for several days, and then encountered a serious storm. Norman's ship was badly damaged, and his own ship was also badly damaged. Norman's ship was then attacked by Krakens, where it was lost. Alyssa Farman towed his ship to 3 small islands where they conducted repairs and returned to Westeros. Alyssa continued west and was never seen from again. These various accounts, along with countless others we have not heard, are why the Maesters do consider the existence of Krakens to be a fact, even if they are not presently much of a threat in many of the major shipping lanes we are aware of. So we get lots of accounts on Krakens, but we can't actually tell what they are. They are referred to as squids every once in a while, and a squid is used as a derogatory term for the Greyjoys and Iron Islanders, so I'm led to believe that Krakens aren't actually squids or large squids, but kind of a hybrid, like a magical variant of squids. Krakens aren't the only mysterious beast beneath the waves, though. In fact, they are nowhere near the most impressive sea monster we see in ASOIAF. In fact, just like how we have supermassive squids, we also have supermassive versions of other creatures, like whales and turtles. Leviathans are the supermassive whales that we see on a few occasions throughout ASOIAF. We actually see the normal gray whales, humpback whales, spotted whales, and white whales in our story, borrowed from the real world, but Leviathans are distinct from any real-world counterpart, as they are much larger, with much longer lifespans. These behemoths are actually the largest life form in ASOIAF, some allegedly surpassing a small island in size. Their range extends through much of the Shivering Sea, Lorath Bay, and Leviathan Sound. While we are yet to directly witness any Leviathans in the 5 primary books, we have various second-hand accounts of Leviathans, and the Ibonese hunt Leviathans on their whaling expeditions. We know very little about Leviathans though, but I would speculate that they are similar to dragons in their ability to grow as long as they are not contained, and have possession of quasi-biological immortality. Additionally, the distinct depictions of regular Leviathans and gray Leviathans makes it clear to me that there appear to be multiple species, at least 2, of these supermassive whales. Supermassive turtles are also seen in ASOIAF, literally sea turtles the size of a boat or larger. These animals are described as old men of the river, and Tyrion actually sees one during a dance with dragons in the river Rhoyne. While these technically aren't sea creatures, these freshwater reptiles are quite fascinating. In fact, these beasts are held sacred by the Rhoynar, and wars were allegedly started over their killings. Personally, I wonder what they eat, as the amount of mass they would need to take in to sustain a life at that size would be several tons, even if they were relatively inactive. Maybe there's just massive schools of fish in the Rhoyne, or some middle link to the food chain we're not aware of yet. There are many other interesting sea creatures carried over or minorly altered from this fascinating planet Earth that we live in. Eels, sharks, lampreys, and octopi do exist throughout our story, both in passing mentioned and the occasional fantastical account, but nothing is really that remarkable or bears much impact to the overall plot in any significant way. One thing of note, though, is that the description we have of octopi makes me think that a different reference to octopods is actually an animal separately classified from those animals, though this is almost complete speculation, as we know essentially nothing else save for the one account of octopods. The lamer explanation is that octopod is just a dialectal word for octopus, as there is only ever one use of each of the 2 words, octopod and octopus. One other incredibly important mythical beast of note is the sea dragon. While we don't know much about sea dragons, and their existence is very speculative at this time, we can analyze some myths to try and understand how they might possibly impact our story in the future. If they do exist in the world of Ice and Fire, it is deep in the oceans, likely in the Sunset Sea, and far from any human observation. Sea dragons were allegedly dragon-like creatures, as we see one of Dragonstone's towers is shaped like a sea dragon. Naga was the largest sea dragon of Ironboard legend, able to feed on Krakens and whole gargantuan Leviathans, even able to cover a single island in her shadow. Naga's existence is disputed, but Naga's point possesses a skeleton so large that no one can deny that whatever dragon-like creature it belonged to, be it a normal dragon or a sea dragon or some other sea creature, it would have been able to eat very large sea creatures, possibly even Krakens or Leviathans, just given the size of its ribcage. Now there's one really big domain that is unmistakably going to be incredibly important in the Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring that we haven't hit on yet. The legendary seahorses, supernatural crabs, aquatic wargs, mermaids, and in particular Patchface himself, all dwell beneath the waters of Westeros. But I'm running out of time, so you're going to have to wait for part 2. In fact, there are a lot of other aquatic beasts which I wasn't able to touch on in this episode, such as phantom tortoises or lizard lions, but that's why you should all please subscribe if you are able, since you'll get to see the next episode, and you'll really boost my channel if you just click that button. I'm currently under 400 subs, and it means a great deal, so thank you all. But that's it for today. Do take care, and I will see you all next time.